guys, hope you're well. Welcome back to my channel. So I started to think about what I could sit down and film with you guys today, and I had a couple of ideas, things I'm loving, but I hadn't really had time to really think about it. So I thought I would just show you some, it's like a haul video, but kind of not really. This is just kind of bits and pieces that I've bought over the past kind of couple of months. Some of it's very, very new, some of it I've had for a few months, some of it I bought while I was in the States on holiday. Just gonna jump straight into it. I told myself that I did not need any new eyeshadow palettes in my life, yet I've bought 3 over the past few months. So first one is a nice one from Maybelline. So this is the Maybelline Lemonade Craze eyeshadow palette. Now I've seen this on their Instagram. I think the size and the kind of shape of the palette is different in the States than it is in Europe, but you can see you get kind of a really nice like array of colors. In general, like some of these shades are just so super pretty, and especially this kind of one up here, oh no, this one called Sugar Coated, which is a really pretty like a metallic shade. I mean, for a Maybelline to get that kind of pigment, I think it's pretty good. It doesn't have the rich pigmentation that some of my favorite eyeshadow palettes do, so be aware of that. But if you want to invest and experiment into some different colors, but also have some things that are pretty neutral that you can kind of really play around with, I think this one's a pretty good option. Other couple of eyeshadow palettes that I bought, they started stocking Morphe again on the Cult Beauty website, and they have loads of these kind of bigger palettes. I decided to go for the Jaclyn Hill palette because I think I've heard so many amazing things about this palette. She launched it over a year ago now, and you know, from the stories that she tells, it's like it was a labor of love for 2 years, and she wanted anybody to be able to create any eyeshadow look they kind of possibly wanted with this palette, and I think she's done that. There's so many beautiful colors in here. I think naturally with any kind of eyeshadow palettes, your eyes are drawn to kind of the crazy colors that you might use all the time, but if you kind of cover those up like that, actually there's a huge amount of really lovely kind of neutrals and nudes to do kind of a really basic look or kind of a more jazzy look if you want it. But there's a mix of kind of mattes and satins and kind of metallics, that's the word I'm looking for. The ones that I've used so far, I've actually not touched all of them yet, are really beautiful, really easy to work with. So this is slightly more expensive than the standard Morphe palette, 35 eyeshadows. That's such a good price for some really great quality shadows. I just heard lots of hype about it and I just really wanted it in my collection, to be really honest. So the next eyeshadow palette, sorry, I think someone's hoovering outside. If you can hear kind of background noise, that's what's going on. The third eyeshadow palette that, and this is a very new purchase, I only bought this yesterday, is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette. Now, when this came out, I was like, oh my god, I want it so much. But I'd only fairly recently bought the Modern Renaissance palette, and there are 3 shades of the same and quite a few other shades which are very similar. So I was like, no, Claire, don't be ridiculous. You already have something that's really similar. But then I went to Sephora and this was on sale, and I was like, oh, if it's on sale then it's just like meant to be. But look how gorgeous it is. They've got some really beautiful mattes which are really nice to kind of work with. It also has this kind of really dark black and this shade called Mulberry, which I think would be perfect for fall time. But they've also got these 3 kind of metallic shades which are just stunning, absolutely gorgeous. So this one's called Sultry, for example, and I've already kind of dug into it a little bit. It's just, oh, so pretty, so nice. This bronze one as well as this goldy one here, and it's just beautiful. Oh gosh, I've got that everywhere. Just so pigmented and so gorgeous and so easy to work with. I just couldn't say no. And I really now do not need any more eyeshadow palettes. I am done. Got enough. So I've heard so much about this from so many beauty bloggers that I follow on Instagram, and this is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I bought this when I was in the States, and oh my god, it smells incredible. It blends beautifully. It's what I'm wearing today. It's just stunning for a drugstore bronzer. So good. I don't love it as much as my Marc Jacobs Omega bronzer, but this is in a slightly more easier, compact version to travel with, which I really appreciate. Now, I can't remember if I've talked about this or not on my channel yet, but this is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting powder, and this is in dim light. So that doesn't look like a huge amount, and it's super subtle. So it's almost like you can't really see it, and it's not something that you really be able to see on camera either, but it's the most gorgeous like finishing powder slash subtle highlight. I kind of feel like when I put it on that I almost look airbrushed. My best friend wore this, I think, for her wedding. It's just super gorgeous, that makes you just look incredible. It comes with a high price tag. I think it's about 40 or 45 pounds, but I've used it a lot, and there's a huge amount of product in here, so I think it would last you quite a long time, which is good when you're buying kind of expensive products, and Hourglass is such a really nice luxury brand as well. And speaking of Hourglass, again, this was something new that I got yesterday because I'd spent some money in Sephora. I managed to choose a special gift, and this is the Hourglass Caution Extreme Lash Mascara as well. And you can see the wand just there. Now, I need to kind of carry on playing around with this a little bit. I'm wearing something else today, but I really like it, and I think it could be a really good mascara. A couple of other face products that I bought. So Milk makeup, again, I find really difficult to buy anywhere else. I bought this in the States. So this is their Blur Stick primer, which I've bought in the kind of mini version because I wanted to try it out. I need to continue playing around with it, but I think so far, I think I'm really enjoying it. Any kind of blurring primers I actually really like, but you've just got to be careful that you don't put too much underneath it, because I feel like it kind of pilled up a little bit. And then I also bought this. This is from Supergoop, and it's this really cool concept. I've also seen one from Peter Thomas Roth that Fleur de Force always recommends. It's basically a setting powder, but it's got an SPF of 45. So how it works, and I've actually broken mine because I pulled out the thing in the middle, so it's not like the best. But basically you tap it and it has like powder that kind of comes out through the brush, and it's got this really high SPF in it. So if you know, are in the sun and you're wearing makeup, and you know, I love SPF, so I like to kind of keep it topped up. It's a really great way to top up your SPF through the day and kind of keep your makeup also set without having to worry about kind of rubbing cream on or anything like that. So I got it in the States. I only used a very tiny bit of it, so I'm sure this will be continuously loved next summer and from years to come, hopefully. Also from Morphe, I bought their setting spray. I heard really good things about it, and I really like it. I haven't put any on today, so I'm gonna show you the mist. It's a super fine mist, so things like the MAC Fix Plus and the Urban Decay All Nighter, you have to physically kind of pump it out, but this is almost a bit more like an aerosol, which is really cool. So it's super fine. I actually think this works really nicely at kind of keeping my makeup on. Again, I've not used it loads of times, but the times I've used it, I've been pretty impressed with it. So the other thing that's new for me, and again, I only bought this a few days ago, is the new Stunna lip paint in Uncuffed from Fenty Beauty. Ooh, oh my God. I'm actually was hoping it would be slightly lighter, actually, but it is actually fairly dark on me, actually. It kind of dries down even darker than that. So I need to kind of carry on wearing it a little bit. I was hoping for maybe something a little bit lighter, but regardless, it's a super amazing formula that lasts all night. You don't need to top it up. Oh God, I've just rubbed it all over the bloody table. I am a disaster. I'm just gonna hold my hand like this. So my final two things are hair care things. One of them is not a new product for me. This is the Bumble and Bumble Surf Spray, which I absolutely love. However, this is slightly new because they have a new design. So this is a kind of limited edition. Sorry, I'm just checking I'm not like rubbing stuff all over me. This is their limited edition design. They've got two different ones. This is the Solid and Striped Malibu Beach, and it's also got a new scent in it. So this is a tropical coconut scent, and I'm just gonna spray actually a little bit in my hair because it's kind of getting a bit flat. Oh, it smells so good. I really like it when my hair smells like really nice and beachy. Lastly, new brand that's launched in Space NK, I got this in Sephora when I was in the States, is IGK, and I've heard really good things about this hair care brand. I decided to go for the Direct Flight Multitasking Matcha Dry Shampoo. And it says it's a medium cleanse level, texturizing, volumizing style extender. So it's not just your bog standard dry shampoo, it kind of does a little bit of everything. I am really enjoying this. It's also really, really big. But what I didn't realize, I've only just been reading the back of the packaging now, it's vegan, gluten and gluten-free, UV protection, petroleum and mineral oil free, and paraben and sulfate free. So that's excellent. That's really, really great, and I'm really happy that this is an expensive dry shampoo. The Batiste one does really, really well, but this has no white cast at all, and it also does that kind of volumizing job at the same time. So please let me know what you think. Please subscribe and follow me on Instagram if you want to see more from me, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.